Nice to meet you, gentlemen. I'm Serge Conesa, founder and CEO of Immersion 4. Thank you. Well, they told me, you have to do something for us. You have to speak about what is impact investment and what is the dark side of the impact investment. That's a hell of a story. Well, I will start with I would say the say from Martin Luther King Jr. And I think this is something that we all should remember, especially on those days. It was said at a time when it was, I would say, a very hard time in the US, and this is some things that we can apply during every single war that this world, I would say, have been known. The sentence was, we will not remember the words of our enemy, but we will remember the silence of our friend. What that means? That means basically today, when you're talking about here Web3, we are talking about blockchain, we're talking about all of that. All of that is data. Data is communication. It's some things that we all share. And data is nothing more, nothing less than energy. So what is the true picture of energy? And why today when we speak about impact investment, when you talk about investing in, I would say, a green solution, what is green? What is impact investment? What kind of impact do you want to do? What kind of money are we sinking? Like we are talking when you look about security, in security people said, oh, we need to be protected, or we need to have encryption. There is so many tools. In fact, there is only one question that you need to ask. Who's your enemy? If you answer that question, you know what to do. Knowing that your enemy today can be your friends tomorrow, and your friend can become your enemy, or is already your enemy, but you don't know. So this is the kind of the protection that we need to talk about. When you talk about energy? What is energy? What is the true picture of energy? That's the picture of energy. I did that picture a while ago because I have been told by people at I would say from outside, talking about, I would say, the files check, what is real, what is not real. And Serge, basically what you're saying, that you can save nuclear plant energy, this is not real. Well, let's go to the bottom of the story. All those numbers are verified. What you see here is the legacy of the world is 89% is oil, gas, and biomass. That's it. And only 11% is renewable energy, like biofuel, solar, wind power, and nuclear energy. This global energy is not the energy which produces electricity. It's energy as an overall, including heating energy. And the energy consumption we are dealing with here is 899 terawatts per hour. When you look at those, what is the energy consumption by data? Data center consumption today is 1.5% of the world energy, 32 nuclear plants. On 2030, the forecasts are talking about 4%, 84 nuclear plants. It's not so much, but that's a lot. And in fact, some of them are saying 8% of energy consumption by data centers. Today, we can change that parameters by changing the way we cool electronics, because a data center is a big house of cooling electronics and nothing more, nothing less. When you go down, how many data centers, and more than anything, how many nuclear plants in this world? 468. How many of them are on shutdown? 213. How many are on construction? 57. How long it takes to build a nuclear plant? 7 years. How long it takes to decommission a nuclear plant? 60 years. I hear everywhere, oh, decarbonization. Well, we breathe oxygen. We expel CO2. Our enemy is not so much CO2, it's microparticles and all the pollution generated all around. When we deal with it, what that means? That means that today nuclear energy cannot be the energy for the future, because we are growing at 1 billion people every 13.7 years. As just as an example. I don't see hydrogen, I don't see anything else. But what I see is clearly their oil and gas. When we continue to this is today the energy consumption per household. Africa is 3 megawatts. A household is 4 people in a house. And we are, as Europe, we are consuming 10, I would say 10 megawatts in our house. That's the average. Electricity production, the switch on, which making our servers, which making blockchain, AI, Web3, everything's working. Well, while we're looking here, nuclear energy is effectively 10% of the world energy. And what we are looking is what is still, I would say, the bigger junk. The big junk is still the same. It's still oil and gas. And the little dots that you have here is the 187 terawatts in terms of producing by data centers. What am I saying here? Who cares about all those numbers? What is saving energy is eco-conservation, is not building more energy. Today, if you want to be green, we need to reduce energy consumption by any means. Because when we reduce energy consumption, we save the electricity production, we stop digging too much the planet, or less. We have no more grids in order to deliver the energy to our houses and to our industries. And this is an immediate savings. And there is zero pollution getting out of it. Well, created the technology in order to save, but we're going to go back into that. What is interesting to say is there is no today energy who can basically cope and match the way we consume and the way we burn energy and the energy demand that we have in this world. There is none. If you find any, be my guest, I'm more than happy. I'm here to be challenged, and the reason why is very simple. If I'm right, our kids have a very serious future issue. I want to be wrong, because that means that I have nothing to do here. I'm good to be out and to enjoy my children, and they will have a lovely future coming in. We look and we put all the things, all the information together, and we look about the energy production, we look about the electricity generation per sources and the evolution of electricity. I will give you this presentation. That's a lot of information. That's why I'm making confused the way I'm speaking, because that's a lot of data. But this doesn't matter. When we go directly to what matters is how much our data are consuming today. 189 terawatts. That's it. That's what we have. The growth is going to be exponential. If I'm comparing today the energy that we are spending for producing, for heating and cooling our house and having energy to produce, I would say our AI, blockchains, or whatever, any kind of world that we are talking about, because at the end of the day, it's the story of an electronic component that we use for something, machine learning, data mining, AI, whatever you call it. The result of it, 8 billion people, 69% of the biodiversity is gone. 2025 is going to be 1.8 billion people with no access to clean water. 2030, we are talking about over 90% of the biodiversity being gone. We are just one in the biodiversity. We need everything around, otherwise we are nothing. That's what matters. When you look at all of this, what is the goal of saving energy and what really matters? When we look at here, I would say the world plan, what we realize, this is nice number of forecasts. But the forecast that I'm interested in the most is this one. How many households can we power by the energy we are saving in 2030 or today? Today, we can power 5.6 million houses of 4 people worldwide. With the way we burn blockchain, AI, energy, whatever you want to call it, we're talking about 29 million houses. If you go down and look at the energy that we're talking about, this is how much nuclear plant we are saving. That's math. And those math are all verified. It's very simple. Well, data centers is energy. Well, we're talking about, what about water consumption? What about pollution emission? What about CO2? What about greenhouse? And when we deal about all of this, the impact of Web3, AI, and everything that we have done, by the way, I'm part of the problem. At 60 years old, I have been the one using air to cool electronics. Air is an insulator. Liquid is a thermal conductor. What was wrong with us? Why did we did that? Well, we did it. Now we have to face it. The fact is, those 2% impact the whole chain on energy production, energy generation, energy distribution, energy storage, energy usage. All right? What we can do on data centers today, the technology we have created, any building can become a data center. This home, this house, any hotels, places, building in the world can become a data centers. That's the technology we have done. Forget the technology we have done. That's exactly what it is when you look about the building. Here you have the air-cooled data centers. We make the air running around HVAC, AC, in order to cool the servers where our web3, AI, everything's are running. And here, this is basically the same things when you don't need anything, and you can save not only space, but as well the energy, because we're talking about 80% energy reduction. Benefit goes all the ways, from financial savings, technology savings, and technology financial benefit savings. But what is interesting, whoops, sorry, I went too fast, is the whole distribution that we do, because every data center is built the same way. So basically, everything is spread out. When we do this, what we look, the translation is the true domain of humanity is called microparticulate emission. That's what we are all living in. So we look, of course, on a certain type of size of what we call PM10, and we're starting to look at PM2.5, finally. PM2.5 go to your length, go to the bloodstream, and then after that, it's called allergies, cancer, so on and so forth. Reason why is, okay, there is so many people, and right now there is 8 kids out of 10 who go to school and have allergies. Well, we speak about finance, making an impact. So I hear everything in conference when I'm going there. The COP, Scope 1, Scope 2, Scope 3, ESG, Sharia law, all of them. Which, by the way, any one of you knows what Sharia law is? I'm provocative. I'm not, in fact. I'm pretty sure for all of you, Sharia law said, oh my God, we're talking about Muslim and Islam. Well, Sharia law was invented by the Arabs, and it was a very equitable way to do business in order to manage profit on the perfect growth in respect with everyone involved. Has been invented in the 15th centuries, just to give you some ideas. Well, where is the elephant in the room? We can all save energy by the way we consume it, by the way we reduce it. So when we want to make an impact comes by saving energy at all costs. Because if we are here, if I switch it off, electricity, there's nothing left. No air conditioning, no electricity, no data, nothing. We go back to the Stone Age. This is the reason why, since electricity, humanity became from 2 billion people to 8 billion people. I'm not going to go to it, it's way too much data, but by the way, they're going to be available. I can give you those presentations. What is data? What is AI? What is blockchain? What is Web3? None of them need air and water. Air and water, we need it. Electronics need liquid, where we can put the servers on it, solving all the problems related to the building infrastructures and to the energy delivery in order to be able to cool the servers to produce data and to store those data. So basically, on the top of that, and I'm pretty sure when you look at your house, the way you power your house, the way you eat and you cool your house, it's through a liquid-to-liquid exchange. That's the same principle. This is the only way we can arrive to sustainable data. No use of natural resources. We keep air and water for us and for the biodiversity, and the liquid to the electronics. Of course, it's a special liquid, 100% biodegradable. That's what we invented it. And why not building that technology all around the world? Circular economy. Why not making that technology being built in China, in Africa, in Europe, in the US, in South America, all around? So then we create jobs, we created value, and in some way we created values. Because I don't know anybody on the migration plane who want to take his kids with a plastic bag, cross a desert in order to bring his kids to offer away the world in Europe. I don't know anybody today, especially when I'm looking about what's happening in certain events in a part of the world, when I'm looking about, well, no more food, no more water, no more energy on a climate like Dubai. Well, I'm living in Dubai. I cannot imagine right now at 40 degrees being outside, let's say 2 hours, with no drinking, with no nothing. We are witness to those days. That's a question to all of us have to answer. It's not about laws. It's about conscientiousness. All of us have to think on their own, not based on communication, but based on what is happening. Can we live like this? Can we accept that? So what we did through this was building a model where we can replicate, build R&D, production land, and having our system to be the same all around the world. When we talk about impact investment, I saw many investors, so many. Just have a question to ask them, like for the security. It's a very simple question. Which question do you want to ask to an investor? Because what you have the most precious is your business plan. For me, one thing only. What do you want for your money? What's the return on investment you're looking for? What kind of investor are you looking? Are you looking to take control of the company? Are you looking to give me the money for the real impact? Or are you really looking to sustain me all the way in order to be able to have the, so to speak, the company growing up and facing all the challenges? And in that case, if he's checking all those boxes, I will give my business plan. Otherwise, I will give nothing. Now, of course, all depends what kind of company you have. Do you have a company which is for sale, because you're just looking to make an X, which is completely fine too? Or you're looking to have a company which is solving a problem that you want to see growing because you said that you're doing good and is having a true mission, a true purpose, which is the sense of my company. Mine, just to let you know, has been 10 years on R&D in order to make what happening. I had 5 years the company has been created. I have 150 investors, all friends and family, not a single traditional investors. I refuse all of them. I'm starting to find some of them for good. And finally, we came out. Going on the verge of bankruptcy, well, story of my life. Let's be clear. I hear so many people the past 5 years talking about impact investment, green investment, all of them. I can tell you none of them went talking to me. We are no air pollution, no water consumption, 80% energy reduction, 100% biodegradable, 100% reusable. There is no obsolescence on our product. Our products are made for running, okay, for decades. How can we not have any impact investors coming in? But we have people who are willing to make money in the company because they said, well, we believe on what you do, and this is kind of being a mecene for that. And that is nice. Those are the true people. So the question is, when you hear about all these green things, the only thing I hear today, if I'm looking at the fact, I love that room, but I'm looking outdoor. What is the carbon emission and the CO2 emission on the war that we're having in this world? What is the military-industrial money that we are putting into it? How much this can save the poverty in this world, knowing that 2 billion are enough to close on that? I see water pollution, what is done in order to solve the problem of the water pollution, and what is done, okay, in order for people to come together. I see one country answering this, and some of those now going down. It's called tolerance. How many of them are based on tolerance? Very few. Then after that, there is the human greed. But impact investment, it depends what you want to do for your company. It depends what kind of money you're willing to take. It depends what kind of future do you want for you. Are you thinking about you, or do you have a true purpose, or running? I started with Martin Luther King, I will end up with another one. I had a dream. My dream is that energy is going to be mutualized, like air and water. No one can be in control of it. Well, the day I can create a World Bank of energy, like there is a World Bank of business of everything, I will give all my shares, I'm the majority shareholders of my company, over 77% of it, to the World Bank of Energy, because my company should belong to humanity, should belong to nobody else. That's my wish. I have to be careful. It's a long path. I may reach, not make it. Maybe in 3 months from now, I'm going to be bankrupt. Maybe I'm going to be exploding. Who knows? But that is the answer that every single founder, every single people creating a company with a purpose, with a mission, need to understand the kind of the money we can take. The rest, for what I'm listening all over the world, for me, is greenwashing. Don't tell me about running on electric cars. when I see a war. Don't tell me about water when we're able to do what we are doing, not only in certain places, but all around the world since the beginning of time. I don't see nations coming together. I see nations managed by personal interest. And sometimes it's truly personal interest of those people. So what can we do? Do we have to judge them? I don't think so. What we have to do is to create, I would say, the synergy between all the technologies together in order to make it happen for the sake of good. Let's create jobs. Let's preserve the natural resources that we have. Let's be sure we can adapt. At the end of the day, let's have our children having a future. It's your call to all of you and all of us. Thank you for your audition.